Hello, I am Miss Love and welcome to my YouTube channel. For those of you who are new, welcome. For those of you who have watched my videos before, welcome. So one thing that I want to show you all, because I feel that a lot of people are not familiar with this, is the image trace. And so what we're going to do, we're going to clean it up in Photoshop, save it, and then bring it into Illustrator, and then go through the steps of how you can image trace and render your illustrations in Illustrator. So right now we already have this open in Photoshop. And so one thing that I like to do is zoom in and look for open spots. And when I say open spots, I mean these little white spots that I know I could just clean up. And so next I'm going to go to the pencil tool, and you can use your brackets on your keypad to make the cursor large or small. You can also, I think, go here to increase the size, but I like to just use the quick keys. It's just much easier. And then after that, I'm going to fill in all of my open spaces. And I do this throughout my whole document. And the reason why you want to do this is because you do not want to have any type of open spaces, especially, like, okay, perfect example right here. We're going to zoom in at this little eyeball, like this bottom eyelid. We want to go ahead and close that in, because if we just leave it open like that, the color may not be able to fill in. So, like I said, any type of open space, you want to just close it in. Even if that space may seem too small, you still want to close it in. Also, one thing that I like to do is take the eraser tool and just erase certain parts that you know are mistakes. So basically what you're doing is just cleaning up everything to make it look like a realistic fashion illustration. It's basically editing. I shouldn't say editing, but just fixing everything. Another perfect example of this somewhat closed space, you want to just go in. And even though you try to close everything in when you're actually sketching this out, I'm not going to say, mistakes do happen. So again, like I said, it's just a way that you could just clean up everything, because you want to have everything neat and clean before you start. So I'm looking, and one reason why I really wanted to do this is because as I was tracing this out, I messed up. So I have all these extra lines that I know I don't want. And so with Photoshop, you could easily just erase. And if you want to zoom in so you'll know what you're erasing, You can just erase from there. And then, of course, if you mess up, you could just hit Control Z, or if you have a Mac, Command Z, and it'll undo. So if you have a PC, Control Z. If you have a Mac, Command Z, and that will undo. And I also want to just make this line a little smaller. And then even with these little spots, you can erase. And then again, any type of mistake, you can just erase. Clean it up. Checking the shoes, checking the feet. And I'm also using the hand tool to see if there is anything I missed. And also, another thing that would kind of make it easier, but I know everybody doesn't have this because I know I don't. Wacom monitor or the Wacom tablet. I like the monitor because you can actually draw on the monitor. And it'll be easy for you to just use your Wacom pen and just erase all that like it's a pencil. I'm throwing it out there, put it in the air that I really want that. And so I am fixing the sole of the heels. And I think I'm also going to use my hand tool again just to drag to see if there are any more mistakes that I need to clean up. I feel I want to just connect that. And one thing that I like about cleaning up everything in Photoshop is because, of course, when you are sketching everything and you're tracing it, of course, with your light box, you are, although you are being very careful, like I said, when you bring it in Photoshop, it's like you can still see those mistakes. So I like to just double check everything because, of course, when I bring it into Illustrator, I don't want to have to go back and correct something in Photoshop that I missed before. So I like to go over this sometimes multiple times just to make sure I have everything because, like I said, once you bring it in Illustrator, that's almost like your final moment to do your retouch. And for some reason, I'm just gonna close that eye. And I'm gonna close in little hair piece. And so now that I have checked everything, and again, I will check this more than once. Just do one little final drag. And here we have something else that we can fix. Fix this. Okay, so now that everything looks legit, everything is fixed, I'm going to zoom in on this mouth. And also one way that you can bring it back to the standard size, you could press Control-0, or if you have Mac, Command-0, and it'll bring it back to the minimized, to where you can see the whole thing. So also another thing that I like to do, I like to crop. And the reason why I'm going to crop it is because I don't want all this white space. I honestly just need the space around my croquis. And if you are unfamiliar with croquis, croquis is basically a French term for a fashion figure. And so once I have it, once I have the space how I want it, I'll just of course press enter and it is cropped. And then it's already saved. I have it saved as suits. So I'm going to save this on my computer, but I would also suggest that you save this in multiple spots. And one thing that I like to do, just in case I have to go back, I'll save it as a PSD file, and then I'll also go back and save it as a JPEG. And I'm going to do another folder for suits. And then just save it in there. And then go back to save as, save to your computer. And then I'm going to save it as a JPEG. So I have a PSD file just in case I have to go back and fix something else that I missed before. So therefore I won't have to do another file. I already have it saved in Photoshop, but I also have the JPEG file. So we're going to close out of Photoshop. And then we are going to open Illustrator. So I already have it saved in Illustrator, and was not saved in Illustrator, but I have Illustrator open. And then I am going to go to my desktop and look for suits. And here it is. And I have my file open. And one thing that I like that we can do that you couldn't do before, because of course, as you can see, the artboard is different from my file. So we are going to go to the artboards tab, and we're going to click this little box on the side. It is saved as letter. We're going to change it from letter to tabloid, and we're going to change the orientation from landscape to portrait. Press OK. And there you are. So the next thing we're going to do, and I'm just gonna, we are going to go, we're gonna click the image. Once you click this image, and I'm gonna show you all again, we're gonna click the actual image. Once you click the image, you see that this tab changed, the toolbar changed, and you see image trace. So there are many different ways that you could do this. You could either click this image trace button, or if you want to look at the tracing presets, it has different presets for high fidelity photo, low fidelity color, low fidelity photo. If you have 3 colors, 6 colors, 16 colors, shades of gray, black and white, logo, sketched art, silhouettes, line art, and technical drawing. You can play with those to see how you like it. If you don't like any of those, you could just press image trace. So that's what I'm going to do. So just press image trace, and then this message will come up. Tracing may proceed slowly. Just press OK because you want to continue. So once you continue, it has basically rasterized this whole thing. And then you are going to click this expand, and it's letting you know it's going to convert the tracing object into paths. So you want to click expand. That's made everything into a path. And what you want to do next is right click and then press ungroup. And this will basically break everything up to where you can delete. So because we want to get rid of the white space, you can just press your backspace button. That white space is gone. So everything that you know is going to be basically background, you want to get rid of it. So get rid of the white around the silhouette. And if you want to select more than one figure, you're going to hold down. If you want to select more than one space, if you want to select more than one space, you're going to hold down shift and then just click. So therefore you can get rid of those spaces. And so next, we are going to click on every part that is going to be skin. So we are going to get the large areas first. And then afterwards, we are going to use our zoom tool to zoom in and select the eyes, the eyelids, and the ears. So once you select those, oh, and we forgot our neck. So once you have selected all of that, one thing that I really like, because one thing when you bring in a picture, and I just wanted to show you all this, when you bring in a picture, when you go into swatches, They're not gonna be any swatches. So one thing that you can do to get your swatches is go to this little book. It's basically your swatch libraries, and you can go to default swatches. We are going to use art and illustration. And I'm going to zoom in there. I'm going to put it next to my swatches. And then also I am going to open gradients and skin tones. So, okay, we're going to do something else. So that is our skin tones. We are going to go back. And it's a good thing that we are seeing this art and illustration. Okay, so we have the art and illustration, and we have the skin tones open. So while we are in skin tones, you can pick which skin tone you want to choose. In this case, I think I might choose skin tone 23. And there is your skin tone. Now, one thing that I also like to do, because of course and one reason why I like to use the skin tones gradient is because it already has the natural shadows and highlights in it. But one thing that you have to do, because of course the shadows and highlights will be placed in random spots. So of course you want to fix that. So I'm selecting the face, and I am going to go to my gradient box, and I am going to go to this angle and then play with the different angles. So they are positive and negative. Like if you go to the positive, then it'll move the shadow and like, I think in this direction, but if you go to the negative, it's gonna drop it down here. So in this case, we're going to keep it in the positive area. So in this case, I think we're gonna have it at 45. So you're gonna do that for the neck, for the head, the neck, basically anywhere where there's a shadow, you want to change the direction of the shadow. Sometimes you may have to go up to 60 or 90. For the hand, we're gonna do 90. And I'm thinking for this hand, it may be 60 or 90. And the same for the feet. So for the feet, we're gonna leave it at 60. Okay, and so for your clothes, if you want to have the clothes and gradients as well, in that same box where you see the skin tones, you can use these arrows to select other gradients. You have a wide selection of gradients to choose from. So you have metals gradients, and I like to use those for the earrings. The gems and jewels, I like to use those for my jewelry if I have them. Then you have fruits and vegetables, foliage. My fades, I use the black fades for the shadows. Then you have earth tones, color harmonies, color combinations, and brights. So I'm thinking we're going to do brights. And select every part that is going to be your suit. And some reason, I kind of like this indigo. Let's see about this turquoise. I usually don't like turquoise. Oh, this blue green is nice. We're going to keep it at the blue green. And since we already have this highlighted, we are going to go back in and again, select our white parts. And one thing that you can do, well, two things that you could do, and I'm going to go back. To color in that spot, you can either select the blue-green, or you can press I on your keypad and just click anywhere where there's color, and it'll fill it in. And same. So you're going to basically do this. Throughout your whole sketch. And so there's nothing else. Also, this is what we're going to do. Now that we have this, let's see, I'm going to show you all how you can do your shadows. So, and I forgot all about this little part. Now that your shadows, now that every part is filled in, okay, and I'm going to show you on the arm. So, I'm going to change the direction. I feel that I'm going to have to make that 120. So, one thing that you can do is select this and press the Alt key to copy it. And this is basically going to create another layer on top. And you are going to go back, go to your fades, and then choose your shadow and place it on top. And because this is basically on top of what you just colored, in this case, we're going to have to go negative. Okay. And so why I like to do this is because you have a natural shadow under your sleeve. And so, like I said, I like to do this because this is a great way for you to render your fashion illustrations. And we are going to go to the eyes, because one thing that I like to do when it comes to the eyes, and we're going to use the art and illustration. So what I do, I'll keep the eye color either brown, or else I'll make it darker. And you can, to make it any color darker, you're going to select your fill box, this color pickle box will come up and you're going to drag down to make it darker. And another thing that I like to do, where your rectangle tool is, cancel that. Where your rectangle tool is, you're going to press your mouse until this box comes up and you want to select the ellipse tool. And while holding your shift key, you're going to create a perfect circle and make that white. And I am going to minimize that, so therefore it will be easier for me to drag this over here. And so this is basically my natural little highlight in the eye. You know how like when you take pictures, you have the little eye shine detail. So I basically did that. And of course, I'm going to have to do that for the other eye. So instead of creating another circle, I'm just going to press my Alt key to copy it and then drag it to the other side. And then for the lips, more than likely I might go back to my brights. And create the lips for it. And then the hair, what I like to do, I'm going to go back to the art and illustration and gonna darken that too. Gonna make it a dark brown. And while holding my shift key, gonna go over it with my mouse, all the little squiggly lines that I have, I am going to select those, and then I'm going to right click. Once I right click, this box is gonna come up. You are going to look for arrange. When you find arrange, you're going to click bring to front. The reason why you want to do that is because the next part, you're going to go to the shaper tool and then select the pencil tool. And then you can just create a shape. And once you create that shape, you're going to fill it in with white. And once you do that, I'm going to have to go back, select that again, bring that to the front. Why is it not doing it? Okay. Let's see, arrange, bring to front. There it is. Okay, so as you can see, my little white spots are right there. Sometimes it works when before you add the extra steps, sometimes it doesn't. So if it doesn't, you can still just easily move that and then bring your white, bring your squiggly lines, your detail lines to the front. And then afterwards, you still have your white spot selected, your little white squiggly line selected, and then you're going to go to Effect, Blur, and you're going to click Gaussian Blur. I like to leave mine between 5 and 7. In this case, I'm going to change that to 7. Press OK, and then I am going to lower my opacity. The reason why I'm doing all this is because this creates a natural highlight. Well, not a natural highlight, but it adds shine. Gives your illustration a shine. And so we're going to bring this to the front. So therefore, you'll see the line, but of course, this is like a little shine spot. And you are going to do the same thing for this side, but it's not going to be as light as this one. So then we're going to move that out the way. Select that, arrange, bring to front. And again, effect, blur, Gaussian blur. Leave it at 7. And then you are going to lower the opacity. And it doesn't matter like how low you have it. And we're going to bring that to the front again. And so you have a natural little light source. And then for your earrings, one thing that I like to do when it comes to jewelry, I will go to my gradients box and I'm going to look for metals and click this gold. And therefore I already have my gold jewelry. So you can do this however you want. Before I end this, I want to change the shadows, the direction of the shadows on this one. So we're going to make that 60. We may have to make this 60. Because of course, you want to have a natural light source. And I feel that I can't have that light source that I want, so I might just leave that where it is. Kind of like that one. No. Okay. And I know for the pants, we definitely have to move that up. Oh, Lord. And then move that. We may have to move that down. Or we can move that up. So again, you can color this however you want. There really isn't a particular way. But again, just know that you have a wide selection of colors to choose from. And I really hope this helps. If you like this video, please click the like button. If you want to subscribe to my channel, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you all and have a good day.